"I'm tired of being just a widow," she declared, her gaze piercing through me. Welcome to Bad Boys Channel, where we reveal true adultery stories with unexpected developments. If you find the video interesting, consider subscribing and liking it. Your support really aids the growth of our channel. Now let's embark on the journey into the story. Now let us embark on a journey into the tale. Once upon a time, there was a man named Derek. At the age of 35, I weave my days around the art of fixing cars. I've been on this journey since I turned 18. Before my time, it was my dad who held the reins of the garage. A quaint little spot, nestled just off Main Street. Simple yet charming. But the people in this town are well acquainted with me. I tend to their engines, ensuring they hum with life. I refresh their oil, and I spin their tires for a smooth journey ahead. It's work that speaks the truth. On most days, that suffices. In a quaint two-bedroom house, a legacy from my beloved aunt, I find myself living alone. Neither children nor animals are present. 3 years have passed since I walked away from my marriage. We shared moments that weren't terrible, yet they lacked the spark of greatness. There are moments in life when paths diverge, and individuals find themselves moving in different directions. Or perhaps we were never truly meant to belong from the very beginning. There was a time when I believed that defined my worth. It seems I've stumbled upon a new insight. My life unfolds with simplicity. Rise with the dawn at 6, savor a cup of coffee, and by 7, find yourself in the garage, ready for the day's adventures. Labor until the clock strikes 5 or 6, then return home as the sun dips below the horizon. Picture this. A cozy evening unfolds with a microwave dinner warming up, the flicker of a game lighting up the TV screen, and then, as the night deepens, a gentle retreat to bed awaits. It may lack glamour, yet it offers a serene stillness. And after the last few years, I learned to appreciate quiet. Ah, that Thursday night. It was meant to unfold just like any other, wasn't it? After wrapping up the task of swapping out the transmission on an old Dodge, I made the choice to head home a bit earlier than usual. The sky was painted in hues of orange, that warm, golden light of the evening, when I first laid eyes on her. She found her place beside the winding road, a moment captured in stillness. The hood stood ajar, with the hazard lights flickering like a warning beacon in the night. Her expression was a mix of frustration and despair, caught in a moment where she seemed torn between unleashing a torrent of curses at the stubborn engine or succumbing to tears. Without a second thought, I came to a stop. It seems to be the tinkerer within me. Upon spotting a soul in distress, you come to a halt, looking for some assistance. I inquired as I approached. She cast her gaze in my direction. Golden strands gathered softly into a relaxed braid. Once upon a time, a navy cardigan draped gracefully over a faded dress, weaving a tale of warmth and nostalgia. Her eyes carried the weight of weariness. Not the sort of fatigue that comes from a long day's work, but the deep-seated weariness that has settled within you over the years. Yet, an air of tranquility surrounded her. "It simply breathed its last," she remarked. "It refuses to budge, not even a little." With a curious glance beneath the hood, I gently jostled a few wires, gave the starter a friendly tap with my trusty wrench, and encouraged her to give it another go. Once upon a time, there was a moment of silence, a void where nothing stirred or whispered. It was a canvas untouched, a breath held in anticipation of what might come next. The starter had met its fiery fate. "It seems you're in need of a lift," I remarked. "Allow me to summon one for you. Or if it suits you, I can guide you to my shop with a tow. This evening, there will be no charge for you." With a moment of uncertainty, a subtle smile graced her lips. "Are you really planning to whisk me away against my will?" With a hearty chuckle, I found myself amused. "Ah, but only if you possess a hidden treasure in the form of a winning lottery ticket." With a glimmer of joy, she let a genuine smile break across her face and gave a nod of understanding. Very well then. My faith in you is unwavering. 15 minutes later, we found ourselves once again at my garage. With a gentle smile, I shared that I would need to order the part, but assured her it would be ready by Saturday. She mentioned that her home was just a short distance away, and she often strolled to her destinations. As I extended the invitation for her to join me on the journey home, she hesitated for a moment. "Well," she inquired, "would you care to join me for a cup of tea?" As a gesture of gratitude. Well, let me tell you, I'm not the sort of fellow who finds himself welcomed into the homes of those I don't know. Yet there was an essence about her, soft and sincere, that compelled me to agree. Her space exuded warmth, a snug haven brimming with books and greenery. Time-worn photographs graced the walls. As she poured the soothing chamomile tea, we settled into the cozy embrace of the living room, the warmth of the moment wrapping around us like a gentle hug. Once upon a time, she introduced herself as Molly. I shared my tale with her. "So you're the one who owns the garage, huh?" she inquired. Indeed. I stepped into the role after my father departed from this world. With a slow nod, she brought the cup to her lips and savored the warmth of her tea. Ah, how vividly he lingers in my mind. Once upon a time, he was the one who mended my husband's truck. A hush enveloped the moment. She held her silence, and I chose not to inquire further. Yet I could feel that she hadn't uttered his name in quite some time. Our conversation flowed for more than an hour. Once upon a time, in a quaint little town, there existed a treasure trove of books where the aroma of bad coffee mingled with the sweet melodies of good music, creating a unique tapestry of experiences. It was effortless, as if the threads of our lives had woven together long before this night. As I rose to take my leave, she accompanied me to the door, her presence a gentle reminder of the moments we shared. Her gaze held for a heartbeat longer than I anticipated. Then she remarked, "You're the first person I've shared tea with in perhaps a year." In that moment, words eluded me, so I offered a nod and a smile, letting the silence weave its own tale. She expressed her gratitude once more for the visit. It held a significance beyond what you might imagine. As I climbed into my truck and drove away, her memory lingered in my mind, haunting me throughout the night. It was a surprise to cross paths with her again so quickly. Saturdays began just like any other Saturday, with a familiar rhythm and a sense of anticipation in the air. In the stillness of the moment, the gentle hum of the shop radio accompanied me, weaving a soft backdrop as I immersed myself in my tasks. In the quiet of the night, I had carefully installed the new starter in Molly's truck. All was in order. It flipped over smoothly. The battery performed exceptionally well. Links are strong. At the stroke of 9 in the morning, I left her a voicemail, a little message to let her know that it was all set and waiting for her whenever she felt like stopping by. By the time the clock struck 2 in the afternoon, the memory had nearly slipped from my mind. As I found myself immersed in the depths of an old Ford's undercarriage, the familiar chime of the bell above the garage door echoed through the air. With a swift motion, I emerged from beneath the car, my hands brushing against the rack as I wiped away the grime. And there she stood, a figure woven into the fabric of the moment. A familiar, tranquil essence lingers, the very same cardigan. This time she donned a white blouse paired with jeans. Her hair was gathered in a gentle twist, and there was a hint of tranquility about her, as if she had finally found a moment of rest the night before. Yet, what truly captivated me was the way her smile lit up when our eyes met. Warm and tender, as if we had known each other for ages. "Hey," she said as she crossed the threshold into the garage. "I trust I'm not intruding upon your moment." "Not at all," I replied, letting the rag fall onto the workbench. "The time has come. Your truck is all set and ready to hit the road." At this moment, With a lift of her eyebrows, she conveyed a world of unspoken thoughts. How swiftly that happened. "Ah, I found myself forgoing lunch," I remarked with a hint of jest. "I thought it only right to repay you for the delightful tea." With a soft chuckle, she cast her gaze around the shop, taking in the surroundings. "Do you always find yourself working solo?" "In the majority of instances. Once upon a time, my cousin lent a hand, but he embarked on a new adventure in Dallas last year." With a nod, she turned her gaze toward the truck. "What is it that I owe you?" I presented her with the invoice. It was a modest endeavor, merely a collection of parts and a touch of effort. I remained true to the truth. With a graceful motion, she delved into her purse. "Would you like me to send you some money via Venmo?" "Of course," I replied. "If it suits you better, feel free to settle up on Monday." She gazed at me for a moment, as if she were probing my features for some hidden truth. Perhaps I'm pondering whether I truly intended that. "Are you always this generous?" she inquired, her voice barely above a whisper. I simply shrugged my shoulders. It was only at the moment I found pleasure in the tea. That brought forth a genuine laugh from her, a sound filled with joy. It was warm and sudden, as if it had caught her off guard. In that moment, a realization washed over me. I yearned to experience that sound once more. "Very well, tea it shall be," she declared. "My humble abode. Guide us on this journey." This time, she stepped forward without a moment's pause. We journeyed in our own trucks, but I trailed her through winding back streets to a hidden cul-de-sac I had never encountered before. In a serene nook, her house nestled among towering trees, a charming blue cottage adorned with a garden that danced between wild abandon and tender care. On the porch, wind chimes danced softly in the air, while a bird feeder hung from a low branch, swaying gently with the whisper of the breeze. Within those walls, her essence enveloped the space even more than I recalled. Pages upon pages, a warm glow enveloping the room, vintage melodies waiting to be played. The air was tinged with a delicate blend of lavender and the rich aroma of coffee grounds. As I settled onto the couch, she gracefully offered me a mug. This time, she declared, "No tea." "Ah, you strike me as someone who enjoys a good cup of coffee." "Guilty," I confessed, savoring a sip. It was bold and rich, with a depth that spoke to my preferences, just the way I enjoy it. We shared our words. This time, the dialogue ventured into profound territories. She inquired further into the details of my life. I shared with her the tale of the garage, how it became mine after my father left this world due to a heart attack 5 years back. I spoke of my choice to keep it modest, rooted in the community, with no grand plans for expansion, just enough to cover the bills and honor the people who relied on us. Then she began to share, truly share. "When Henry passed away," she murmured, her gaze fixed on the edge of her cup, "it felt as if time itself had come to a standstill. Once upon a time, there was a life I led, filled with a partner by my side and a comforting routine that shaped my days. Then, I found myself simply drifting along." Silence enveloped the moment, my lips sealed tight. There was no necessity for that. At times, the quiet speaks volumes. "I once had friends," she continued, "but they were at a loss for words after he left us. And so, silence enveloped them. The invitation ceased to arrive. The phone fell into a hush. I transformed into the woman whom others felt sorry for, yet chose not to include. "My apologies," I expressed. Her gaze met mine. "There's no need for that. It simply exists as it is." As the sun began to set, we found ourselves drawn to the porch. The golden rays of the late afternoon sun danced through the trees, weaving intricate patterns of light and shadow upon the floorboards below. She settled into the wooden chair, her legs tucked beneath her, savoring each sip with a leisurely grace. "I had almost forgotten this feeling," she whispered. "What is it that you seek?" "Organization. a genuine enterprise. Someone who perceives me beyond the label of a widow. There was a moment of silence that stretched on, not clumsy, merely reflective. It's the kind of moment that hangs in the air, a silent acknowledgement of the shift that's brewing between you, both aware yet hesitant to voice the unspoken truth. As the sky began to shimmer with golden hues, I rose to take my leave. As I made my way to my truck, she followed me outside and called out to me in a gentle voice. "Derek, my friend, gather round and let me share with you a tale that unfolds like the pages of a well-worn book." I spun around. Once more, she found herself in the doorway, one hand resting on the frame while the other cradled her coffee cup. "Would it be strange if I invited you to visit again sometime? Not for the vehicle, only for a cup of coffee. Or tale exchange. Or perhaps stillness." A smile graced my lips. "Not strange in the slightest." "Good," she proclaimed, her confidence blossoming just a touch more. "For that reason, I believe it would be quite appealing." Indeed, I would as well. Time flowed on, just as it always had. Leisurely. Unsurprising. Yet a change lingered in the air, a gentle change in the air. The dialogues with Molly had transformed, no longer mere casual exchanges. Every conversation we had, be it in the shop or over the phone, felt charged with an unexpressed tension that hung in the air around us. An unspoken bond lingered between us, one that remained unrecognized by both parties, yet felt deeply. 2 days had passed since I departed from her home after that fateful coffee encounter. That morning, she reached out to me, inquiring if I could take a look at her washing machine. It had ceased to function. She wove her words with a playful touch, yet I sensed a deeper current flowing just beneath the surface. It was no trouble at all, really. I was more than willing to lend a hand with whatever was needed. Yet, as I reflected on it, I came to understand that I was unaware of the reasons behind her persistent calls to me. I had mended washing machines in the past. Though I wasn't a plumber by trade, I often found myself unraveling the mysteries of the pipes and fixtures with a bit of ingenuity. Little did I know what awaited me as I stepped into her house that afternoon. Upon my arrival, I found Molly nestled in the living room, engrossed in the pages of a book. As I stepped through the door, her gaze lifted to meet mine, and the smile that graced her lips held a certain quality, tentative, as if she were preparing herself for an unexpected turn of events. Yet, she remained silent on the matter. With a simple nod, she directed her gaze toward the laundry room. "Thank you for gracing us with your presence," she whispered gently. "It may seem trivial, yet I've encountered challenges in the past." With a subtle nod, I stepped into the room behind her. Once upon a time, there stood a washing machine, a relatively young contraption, perhaps just 2 or 3 years into its journey. Yet, on this particular day, it refused to awaken, remaining silent and still. With a careful crouch, I removed the panel and began to inspect the connections within. The issue revealed itself swiftly, like a plot twist in a tale waiting to unfold. A frayed connection. It was one of those surprises that catches you off guard, yet the solution turned out to be quite simple. As I toiled away, her essence lingered in the air around me. Though her words were few, I sensed her gaze was fixed upon me, observing every move I made. As I completed my task, I rose to my feet and carefully wiped my hands on a rag, a sense of accomplishment washing over me. "It's time to embark on our journey," I declared. It simply required a touch of refinement. "Thanks," she said once more, yet her tone had shifted, gentler, as if she were searching for the perfect phrases. I laid the rag aside and turned to meet her gaze. "Is all well in your world?" I inquired, with a touch of uncertainty. Though I hesitated to pry, an unsettling feeling lingered in the air. For a fleeting moment, she paused, her gaze wandering to distant corners, avoiding mine. At last, she let out a deep sigh and raised her gaze. "I don't know what I'm doing, Derek," she murmured, her voice a fragile whisper that danced in the air. What unfolded was beyond my wildest imagination. "Could you clarify that for me?" I inquired, sensing that all too familiar twist tighten in my gut. This tale transcended the mere existence of a washing machine. She spoke of a grander tale unfolding. She spoke with a hint of surprise in her voice, revealing emotions she hadn't anticipated. It was a surprise to find someone to share my thoughts with once more. A person who truly pays attention. And then there you were, just like that. A moment stretched out in silence. Words eluded me in that moment. "Molly, I understand, it's wild," she interjected. "Your kindness has been unwavering. Yet, after so much time in solitude, I find myself at a loss, unsure of how to interpret any of it. As I stood there, thoughts whirled around in my head like leaves caught in a tempest." Her words danced around the truck, the washing machine, and the coffee, but they were not the focus of her tale. She wove a tale about us. "I never intended to create such a mess," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "After Henry, I believed my journey had reached its conclusion. It seemed to me that I had reached the end of my journey. In that moment, I found myself at a loss for words. I had taken great care, hadn't I? I maintained simplicity and ensured the lines were distinctly drawn. Yet here we were, poised at the brink of an unknown journey, caught in a moment of hesitation, weighing the choice between advancing into the mystery ahead or retreating to the familiar behind us. "Molly," I lowered my voice to a whisper, "my purpose is not to weave a web of complexity in your life. I'm here, simply aiming to lend a hand. And if that's all I mean to you, that's perfectly fine." With a swift motion, she shook her head. "Ah, but the tale is far more intricate than it appears. It's not solely you lending a hand with the tasks around our home. It encompasses all that is. How you stood by when others were nowhere to be found. It's not that I lack gratitude for it. Indeed, I do." With a deep breath, she steeled herself, readying for what lay ahead. "Yet I can no longer maintain the facade that there isn't something deeper stirring within me. The truth is becoming too clear to ignore. There it was, the revelation I hadn't anticipated, yet deep down I sensed it was on the horizon." Her words had transcended mere gratitude. She spoke of the transformation that had unfolded between us. It was as if I had begun to weave myself into the fabric of her existence, occupying a place that no one else had even approached. In that moment, words eluded me. This caught me completely off guard. Never anticipated she'd be so direct about it. Yet, it lingered, suspended in the space that separated us. I moved in a bit nearer, my thoughts swirling like a tempest. Words needed to be spoken. "I'm not in a hurry, Molly. I simply wish to ease your burdens, not add to them." Her lips curled gently into a smile. Her eyes brimmed with an indescribable emotion. "I understand. I'm taking my time as well. It's important for you to understand that I share that feeling as well." In that moment, silence enveloped the air, leaving no room for further words. She was not anticipating a reply from me, and I found myself without one to offer. We found ourselves rooted in place, absorbing the gravity of the moment, and for the first time in a long time, I found myself uncertain of the path ahead. Yet I embraced that uncertainty with open arms. In the days that followed, an air of peculiarity enveloped everything. There was a change in the air between Molly and me, an unspoken understanding that lingered, yet we chose to let it remain unaddressed. An unspoken understanding lingered in the air, weaving a silent bond between them. An unusual tension lingered between us, an unspoken weight neither of us dared to confront. Yet it wove its way through every conversation, every glance, like an unspoken thread connecting them all. Though I wished to avoid any discomfort, I could not overlook the undeniable shift that had occurred between us. With a steady hand and a keen eye, I immersed myself in the tasks at hand, tending to the little fixes in the garage while ensuring that every customer left with a smile, their needs met, and their expectations exceeded. Yet, my thoughts continually wandered back to her, Molly, and the way her gaze pierced through me, the way her words lingered in the atmosphere following that revelation. She had confessed it. She sensed a spark, and I felt it as well, yet I was at a loss for how to navigate it. It had been a while since our last encounter in her laundry room, yet she reached out to me a few times afterward. Each call felt less uncertain, as if she was gradually finding her way back to the rhythm of everyday life. And with every encounter, I couldn't help but wish that perhaps, just perhaps, she would reveal a bit more of herself. Yet, in truth, she never truly was. On that fateful Friday afternoon, she reached out to me once more. She spoke of the truck, weaving a tale around it. As the vehicle rolled forward, an unusual sound emanated from the brakes, a curious whisper that hinted at something amiss. It may not have been a monumental affair, yet I could sense the unease swirling within her. She inquired whether I might swing by after work to have a glance. Indeed, I found myself in complete agreement, for how could I possibly refuse her? As I approached her place, there she was, standing outside with her hands snugly tucked into her jacket pockets. As her eyes met mine, a smile blossomed on her lips, yet it carried a unique warmth, unlike any smile I had encountered before. It had a gentler quality, tinged with a hint of apprehension. "Hey," she began, her voice laced with uncertainty. "Gratitude fills the air for your presence today." "Absolutely," I said, gesturing toward the truck with a knowing smile. "Come, gather round, and let us explore together." In the stillness that followed, I examined the brakes, striving to maintain a sense of professionalism while attempting to overlook the palpable tension that hung in the air around us. The familiar truck, a trusty companion through the years, showing signs of its journey with a touch of wear and tear, but nothing out of the ordinary. Once I wrapped up the inspection, I lifted my gaze to meet hers. "Everything is just fine," I replied. "It's nothing to worry about. Tomorrow, you can gather it up." She nodded, yet her feet remained rooted, unwilling to take that first step away. Instead, she simply stood there, her gaze fixed on me, as if she were pondering a weighty decision in her thoughts. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the universe had been holding its breath. And now, at long last, the moment unfolded before our very eyes. "I need to talk to you," she said suddenly, her voice low yet resolute. I set the tools aside and turned my gaze toward her, a swirl of uncertainty filling the air as I pondered what might unfold. "What tales are swirling in your thoughts?" "I've been pondering quite a bit recently," she continued, her voice quivering slightly. "Once upon a time, in a world filled with countless tales and adventures, there existed a vast tapestry woven from the threads of everything imaginable. Let us share our tale. Let me take you back to that moment in the laundry room, where words flowed like a gentle stream." I took a deep breath, my heart pounding in my chest. Uncertainty loomed ahead, yet deep down, I sensed the path would be anything but simple. "I don't want to complicate things for you," I said, striving to maintain a calm tone, attempting to convey that I had everything well in hand. Yet, deep within, I was a tangled web of emotions. With a gentle shake of her head, she dismissed the notion. But that's not quite the case. I certainly don't wish to complicate matters for you as well. Yet, I can no longer maintain the facade that everything remains the same. It's becoming increasingly difficult to pretend that our ongoing dance of back and forth is merely casual. A weight settled upon my chest. I understood her meaning, even though her words danced around the truth without fully revealing it. Her words had shifted away from the truck. She wove a tale about us. "I know we've both been dodging this," she continued, her voice growing more resolute. "Yet, I can no longer hide the truth of my emotions. and I'm weary of putting on a facade, pretending that I don't yearn for something greater. No longer do I wish to be defined solely by my loss. Derek, the thought of solitude weighs heavily on my heart. Yet, I find myself yearning to break free from the chains of yesterday. I lingered for a moment, absorbing the weight of her words. Every fiber of my being urged me to retreat, to maintain my distance, yet I found myself unable to do so. Once upon a time, that was the case. But now, things have changed. With a deep breath, I found the courage to draw nearer to her. Molly, I wish to take our time with this journey. I wish to keep things simple for you, yet I must confess that my feelings mirror yours. With a sigh that seemed to echo through the ages, she finally allowed a smile to grace her lips, a true smile, as if a heavy burden had been gently eased from her weary shoulders. "You're not the only one," she said softly, stepping a little closer, her voice weaving a thread of connection between them. Yet I yearn to hasten this journey now. The time for waiting has come to an end. The perfect moment is but a tale yet to be told. I'm curious to know if you share this feeling as well. I gave a knowing nod. Indeed I do. I can sense it deeply, and in an instant the world transformed. The veil of uncertainty. The suspense hangs in the air. It all dissolved into nothingness, giving way to an unexpected discovery that arrived sooner than I could have imagined. The dread, the pause that lingers in the air, the trepidation of taking a misstep. And just like that, it vanished into thin air. What remained was a gentle, unadorned reality. We had grown weary of the charade we were putting on. Our silence spoke volumes. In silence, an understanding passed between us, a shared recognition of what lay before us. With a gentle lean, she paused, caught in a fleeting moment of uncertainty. I encountered her at the midpoint, and when our lips finally met, it was a moment filled with tenderness, not hurried or frantic. It was perfectly fitting. In that instant, it dawned on me that no matter what lay ahead, I was prepared to confront it. In the days that followed that fateful night, everything felt transformed. Once the path was chosen, there was no turning back. There's no denying the emotions that stirred within us. The atmosphere surrounding Molly and me had transformed, and it was for the better. We took our time with everything. We savored each moment, allowing the relationship to blossom in its own time. Yet, it was more than mere attraction. It was the bond we had forged through countless conversations, shared experiences, and those serene moments together. It was clear to both of us that this was a matter that demanded our attention, one that couldn't simply fade into the background. We were not the sort of individuals who could continue our lives wrapped in the comforting veil of denial. And after the kiss, the world around us seemed to illuminate with newfound clarity. Yet a flutter of nerves danced within me each time our paths crossed. The burden of our journey into the uncharted, the mystery of it all, felt distinctly unique. Yet, as time unfolded with her by my side, I came to understand that returning to the past was no longer an option I desired. I yearned to break free from the role of merely being the one who mended the broken and tended to the weary corners of the home. I yearned to be more than just the neighbor who lent a hand with a broken washer or a faulty truck from time to time. A yearning lingered in the air, a silent understanding that we both craved something deeper. On a Friday afternoon, the phone rang once more, her voice on the line, inquiring if I could make my way over. Without a moment's pause, I agreed, despite the mountain of tasks awaiting me at the shop. My heart yearned to be by her side. That consumed my every thought. Upon my arrival, there she was, standing outside as she always did, waiting for me with that gentle smile that had become so dear to my heart. Yet, on this occasion, she carried an air of distinction that set her apart. Something with greater confidence. As we stepped inside, she mused, I've been reflecting on our earlier conversation. I nodded, feeling my heart race within my chest. I understood her words, yet a part of me lingered in uncertainty about our position. A revelation dawned upon me. She continued, her voice unwavering now. I no longer fear this, Derek. I embrace the unknown with open arms, of the possibilities that lie before us. The words enveloped me, a gentle embrace that felt substantial yet light. It brought a sense of comfort. It was the moment I had longed for, though I had been unaware of it until this very instant. I am not, I replied. I desire this, Molly. I'm eager to discover the journey that lies ahead. The future is a mysterious tapestry, and while I can't predict its threads, I am certain of one thing. I refuse to let this slip away. As she extended her hand, our fingers intertwined, and for a fleeting moment, we lingered in that embrace, savoring the connection between us. In that moment, words were simple, unadorned, and yet they carried a weight of sincerity that spoke volumes. Two souls discovering that at times, the key to progress lies in the bravery to embark on that initial journey. Weeks passed, and there we were, gathered around my kitchen table, sipping coffee, when the conversation veered into unexpected territory. Molly shared her journey, recounting the years she devoted to fulfilling the expectations of being a wife, a mother, and later, a widow. Now, after all this time, she was discovering the beauty of living for herself. I believe I've lost sight of what it truly means to live for myself, she murmured, her gaze fixed on her cup. In the tapestry of my life, I wove threads for others, losing sight of my own desires and needs. It seems I've been caught in this pattern for so long that the vision of my future has faded, leaving me to ponder what I truly seek next. Yet here we are, and with you by my side, it seems I might just uncover the answers I've been seeking. I found myself in stillness, attuned to the whispers around me. I could perceive the flicker of her doubt, yet there was an undeniable current of resilience within her. She was engaged in an endeavor that took me by surprise, revealing a hidden talent I had never noticed before. She decided to step into the future, welcoming the mysteries that lay ahead, regardless of their uncertainty. In that fleeting moment, it dawned on me that she wasn't merely sharing her thoughts with me. She was embarking on a journey of self-discovery. I may not have a glimpse of what lies ahead, I replied, my voice unwavering. Yet I am certain of one thing. I want you by my side in that journey. I'm eager to embark on this journey of discovery alongside you. In unison, she beamed, her gaze gentle and warm. The moment has come, Derek. I'm prepared to embrace a new chapter beyond being merely a widow. I'm poised to embrace life, eager to discover what lies ahead. With you, if you'll have me by your side. The atmosphere surrounding us was charged with warmth and endless possibilities, and I sensed that whatever lay ahead, we would confront it side by side. We didn't have to have all the answers immediately. We were content to let the journey unfold, without concern for the destination of this relationship. In the grand tapestry of our journey, the most significant thread was woven when we chose to lay bare our truths to one another. In that moment, a rare tranquility washed over me, a feeling I hadn't experienced in quite some time. There was no need for haste, no requirement to possess all the answers. We could navigate this journey one day at a time, unraveling the mysteries as we moved forward. Molly leaned in, her lips brushing against mine in a gentle kiss, and a wave of warmth washed over me. It was a moment that unfolded quietly, without the flare of drama. In that moment, the absence of fireworks and grand gestures spoke volumes. In the heart of their journey, two souls discovered a genuine connection, a bond so profound that they were ready to face any challenge to preserve it. "We'll find a way," I murmured, drawing her near. "In unity." For the very first time, it seemed as though we were both prepared to release the weight of the past and gaze toward the future. Prepared to embark on a fresh journey, something genuine. And so it was, just that simple.